Now, coverage you can count on. This is KYW News 3 at 11.
Good evening. I'm Stephanie Stahl. Larry Kane is off tonight. More than 100 people have been forced from their homes tonight as a raging forest fire burns out of control in Atlantic County. This is how the fire looked early this evening from Skycam 3. Flames burning through hundreds of acres. A desperate battle is being fought by scores of firefighters from surrounding communities. Here's the site of the forest fire in Mullica Township, and it's still spreading. News 3's Ren Scott joins us live with the latest. Ren?
Good evening to you, Steph. Right now, this is a very fluid situation, changing minute by minute. I don't know if you can see behind me and see all the smoke and soot and ash in the air, but right now, the major fire is probably 400 to 500 yards over in this direction, back in the woods behind these homes. What the firefighters have done right now, they have set backfires behind these homes. That burns towards the major fire, tries to burn out the fuel for that fire. But just in case that strategy does not work, you may be able to see up and down the street here, they have set up pumper trucks, and those are pumper trucks ready to go into action if any one of these structures goes up in flames. So right now, the situation is not under control. It is changing minute by minute. Here's the very latest. With the wind-driven flames spreading rapidly through hundreds of acres of Wharton State Forest and bearing down on hundreds of nearby homes, firefighters had no choice but to set backfires behind the homes to try and protect the structures. Then pumper trucks set up and down the streets of this community to wait.
So at this time, the fires switched direction on us a couple times at this point. It's been kicking back and forth again. It's starting to head this way again, once again now.
Yeah. So you guys are ready to move?
Yes, we are.
2,500. That 400.
Earlier, firefighters evacuated roughly 100 people from some 75 homes in the community of Totem Village. Tonight, they also sit and wait.
The fireman knocked on the door, told us to get out. So I just took my daughter and my brother and sisters and just left. And I came back just now just to get my birth certificates and a couple of clothes, work clothes for tomorrow.
They won't let us into the houses because they don't know, how fast the fire might come down. So the whole block is shut down, Tomocomo Drive. So as far as we got to know right now, we just got to wait and see what happens.
By nightfall, the billowing smoke could be seen from miles around. Between 7 and 9 p.m., the estimated acreage burned went from 300 to 1,000 acres. Wildlife has run for cover, and firefighters are now hunkered down, hoping their strategy of backfires and fire lines will hold.
My house is already full of soot and the little coals that's coming down from the air. Ain't much you can do, It's just sit and wait and try to wait it out and see how much is possible. If we all got to go, we'll all go.
And right now, that is what hundreds of people are doing. They are sitting and trying to wait it out. Now, as you might imagine, the numbers in terms of trying to fight this fire are tremendous. The latest we got were some 400 firefighters from roughly 25 companies around southern New Jersey. That number very likely could have increased in the last hour or two. We are told one firefighter has suffered from heat exhaustion. That's the only injury we know about. And amazingly, at this point, Steph, we are told that no major structures have been burned. Some kind of back homes, some sheds, but no major structures. Now, right now, it's a very precarious situation because during the day, they can use crop duster planes. They can use helicopters dropping water over the site. At night, they don't have that option. So right now, it's kind of hunkering down, waiting and hoping. The backfires have set. And we're going to see what's going to happen. It's going to be a very long night, a very tense night here in Mullica Township. That's the latest in Mullica Township. I'm Ren Scott. Steph, let's go back to you in the studio.
Okay, Ren, thank you. One of the
now presents a rebroadcast of tonight's 11 o'clock news.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Flames and smoke rising from the Wharton State Forest in Atlantic County. The forest fire erupted at 4 this afternoon, and shortly thereafter, it started moving toward a residential area. It is Tuesday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is a menacing forest fire in South Jersey. Let's pinpoint the location of the blaze. It is the Nesco area of Mullica Township. The residential development is called Totem Village. New Jersey correspondent Lisa Quintana is live in Mullica Township tonight. Lisa, what's the latest from there?
At this hour, the fire is still moving toward this housing development. Right now, officials from the Forest Fire Service say they are hours away from containing the blaze. It may not be under control until late tomorrow morning. Plumes of smoke filled the skies above Wharton State Forest in Mullica Township, Atlantic County. Down below, the fire rages. The fire started at 4 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, 2,000 acres were destroyed. The blaze still out of control. What did they tell you?
Evacuate. Go to the firehouse in town in Nesco.
The only time we had was to evacuate the durables.
What did they tell you, and what are you doing?
We're just packing up the valuables, stuff you can't replace. They said it's a mile away and it's coming this way.
The flames are spreading, moving precariously close to 25 homes in Totem Village's housing development. Over 100 people were told to leave. Some stayed behind to hose the roof. Others simply packed the basics and left the rest behind.
I just moved back, just got everything all set up, and it's like you're going to lose everything.
In the air, surveillance planes tracked the fire. In the woods, 80 state firefighters battled the blaze. On the perimeter, 400 firefighters from 25 towns protect the homes all along Topacoma Road in Nesco, Mullica Township. Is there anything working in your favor right now?
The wind died down. Okay, that's one good thing. We have the manpower and the water supply set up, so we're just waiting for the fire and see what it does.
Because of the shifts in the wind, firefighters are very optimistic about saving these homes. They say the fire is moving at a much slower rate than it was just a few hours ago. Now, firefighters have set up shelters in area fire departments, but very few people are taking advantage of it. They prefer to stick around and make sure that their homes are safe. One Sweetwater volunteer firefighter was injured in the blaze. She's suffering from heat exhaustion, but she was treated on the scene, and they say that she will do just fine. Right now, firefighters say they do not know what caused this blaze. Reporting live on the Action Cam, I'm Lisa Quintana in Mullica Township.
Thank you, Lisa. 10 people are dead tonight.
Connected. The following edition of News 10 aired live at 11 p.m. and is being rebroadcast as a service to our late-night viewers. You're watching Philadelphia's NBC 10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10 at 11.
A ferocious forest fire marches across South Jersey. You're looking at a live picture from the Chopper 10 gyro cam. The inferno is sending homeowners running from its frightening path.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Davidson. Renee has the night off.
And I'm Ken Metz. And our top story tonight, that forest fire raging out of control, forcing people from their homes tonight. It's happening right now in Tinder Dry, South Jersey. Let's take a live look from the Chopper 10 gyro cam. You can see a carpet of flames burning brightly. Those are the embers that you see right now. If it were daytime, you could probably see the smoke, and it would be a lot of smoke. Imagine that, and imagine what it might be like tomorrow. The fire is so ferocious, you can see it glowing some 30 miles away on the horizon. Now let's take a live look at, well, this is the Metro Cam on the Tacony-Palmyra Bridge. The flames clearly visible from that far away, at least the glow. Here are the headlines. At least 100 people have been evacuated from a housing development that's in the path of destruction. So far, 1,000 acres have been burned, and hundreds of firefighters are still battling the flames. That hungry inferno is burning through part of Wharton State Forest in Mullica Township, Atlantic County. The worst of it is northeast of Hamilton. Let's go live now to Doug Schimel on the ground. He's in Nesco, Atlantic County. Doug?
Yeah, the smoke has gotten a lot worse here in the Totem Village subdivision just in the last 30 minutes. And as we will show you from Chopper 10, this fire is still burning very strongly some 7.5 hours after it was first reported. When you ask fire officials here, how did it start? Did it start from a roadside cigarette? They say, no, that's not the case at all. Somehow it started in the middle of nowhere. As flames raced toward backyards, forestry crews lit backfires and dug fire breaks in order to cut off homes from the inferno. 100 residents were told to leave the Totem Village development, but Paul Gautier came back.
See how close it got to my house, see if anything was burned, to see if I lost anything. It's my father's home.
Sprinklers ran from rooftops of homes left behind, and residents did what they could to move the family pets to safety. Others packed up and waited.
Upset. It's everything I've worked for all my life here.
As a chopper directed fire crews in the Wharton State Forest, 400 firefighters from 3 counties surrounded the neighborhood.
We have a perimeter set up with probably 2 homes per 1 pumper engine. That's a lot of protection.
and we're just waiting for the fire to arrive.
Gotta save my home.
But guys like Steve Bailey know the fire crews cannot save everything.
So what do? I have to fight for it. I'm gonna fight for my home. I'm gonna fight here. I'm gonna fight here as long as I can.
Well, for Steve Bailey and the 400 other firefighters out here, that fight may go on all night long, at least as far as they are estimating now. Still looking at a little over 1,000 acres that have burned over the past 7.5 hours. As for any property damage, they say no residential areas. There may have been some storage and outbuildings that were out in the woodland there that may have been destroyed in the fire. As for injuries, no serious injuries, but we are told at least one firefighter has been treated for heat exhaustion. But if that is all, after nearly 8 hours of battling a monstrous blaze like this, firefighters say that is a pretty good record so far, but they fully expect to be here throughout the night. Live in Nesco, New Jersey, I'm Doug Schimel, News 10.
In other news tonight.
Look at this, more of what we've been telling you about. The Chopper 10 Gyrocam live over a raging forest fire in Mullica Township, Atlantic County, New Jersey. News 10's Doug Schimel has a live update.
Yeah, Ken, New Jersey forestry crews continue to battle this fire from within the Wharton State Park, while about 400 firefighters from 3 counties have surrounded the Totem Village residential area where we are to try to keep the fire off the homes. Even so, about 100 people are out of their houses tonight and will be until tomorrow. They're staying at shelters or with family and friends. Despite what you see there, about 1,000 acres worth of charring, we are told, amazingly enough, no residential damage, but some storage buildings and some outbuildings in the woodlands may have been destroyed. There have been no serious injuries tonight, although one firefighter was treated for heat exhaustion. We're told one big benefit tonight is that the wind has died to virtually nothing, so that has made the fire relatively easier to fight. Live in Nesco, New Jersey, I'm Doug Schimel, News 10.
Lucky so far.
3.8 at the airport, about 1.5 inches short for the entire year. 17.96 in the old rain bucket, 6.5 inches short. We still need some rain.
Township, Atlantic County, New Jersey. Some of those tall, dry trees have been exploding into flames. At least 100 people have been evacuated from their homes. 1,000 acres burned so far. The flames still raging out of control. Of course, we'll have all the latest on the forest fire tomorrow on News 10 today, beginning at 5:30 a.m.
But that's News 10 for now. Thanks for watching. I'm Tracy Davidson.
And I'm Ken Metz. We'll see you tomorrow.
From Fox Philadelphia, the region's only prime-time news hour, the Fox 10 o'clock news.
Good evening. It is raging, it is growing, and a huge fire in the Pinelands is heading right for some homes now.
People are evacuating, but this fire is moving fast. That's first on Fox tonight. More than 1,000 acres so far, and no signs of stopping. The biggest wildfire of the summer could lead to disaster. Sky Fox is over the Wharton State Forest right now, where this wind-driven fire is out of control. You can see the flames if you look closely. This is in Mullica Township, Atlantic County, New Jersey. A police dispatcher says the fire is heading right for the Totem Village housing development in the Nesco area of Mullica Township. There are as many as 50 homes there. At least 100 residents are being evacuated to firehouses in any place they can find. 25 fire departments from 4 counties are standing by at the Totem Village development trying to save it. So far, no serious injuries are reported. This fight is far from over. We will keep you posted with live pictures from Skyfox. And these are pictures that we took earlier today, this afternoon, approximately 5 o'clock, where you can see that the fire, wide-ranging over the Pinelands. This is just north and east of Hamilton, New Jersey, on the Atlantic-Burlington County border. The fire right now is said to be heading toward this development, the Totem Village development. Once again, 100 people evacuated so far. We will update you with the very latest. Danya?
Rich, tonight a 15-year-old wind
right over Mullica Township, New Jersey, Atlantic County, and you can see the forest fire there is burning out of control. State officials with the Forestry Department now say that this fire has burned 2,000 acres. About 100 people have been evacuated from a Mullica Township neighborhood as firefighters try to contain the blaze, which has been burning since 4 this afternoon.
And right now, we'd like to go to Mike Mitch. He is our Skyfox pilot who was up over this fire before sundown, and of course, right now, you're looking at it live from his vantage point. And Mike, we're wondering, how far away are the flames from Totem Village?
Danya, it looks like it's less than a half a mile. We have a very aggressive forest fire here. We're 1,000 feet over it, and we're getting some very strong thermal currents from it. It's moving at a pretty good clip, and this is a fire that's going to have to be kept after.
Mike, you've been watching this all afternoon and into the evening. Can you tell us, can you describe for us what this looked like as it was growing across the pinelands there?
Well, there was early reports this fire could be seen from Trenton, which is 40 miles from the fire, and it has been rolling and growing ever since. It started pretty small, and it just has been going tremendously ever since.
Okay, thanks. That's Mike Minch, our Skyfox pilot, with an update. We'll have more on it coming up later in the show.
All right, up next.
In the New Jersey Pinelands, you're seeing that right now. It has been raging since about 4 o'clock. It has swallowed up some 2,000 acres in Atlantic County. You're looking at a live picture once again from Skyfox in Mullica Township, New Jersey. We have live on the phone right now Eric Davenport at the New Jersey Forest Fire Service. Eric, what is the latest on this? What is happening?
At this point, we have 1,000+ acres burnt. Efforts go on to contain this fire. Darkness grounded our aircraft. Our ground units continue to work on it. We've just sent 6 more ground units in as a night crew, and we will continue round-the-clock operations until we get containment and then control.
Mr. Davenport, can you fight this fire in the dark?
Yes, sir. We will continue to actively fight this fire 24 hours a day until control.
And how close is it to the development Totem Village?
As far as I know, it went to the back of some houses to a control line that was put in behind the houses.
Any damage there?
Not to my knowledge at this time.
Is the weather playing any role at all right now as you're fighting the fire?
With the drop in humidity today, that appears to be playing a great deal. The wind picked up, the humidity dropped, and we were off to the races.
Eric Davenport from the New Jersey Forest Fire Service, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be right back.
Here, once again, you're looking at a live picture from Skyfox of Mullica Township, New Jersey, where a wildfire has been raging since 4 o'clock this afternoon. It has swallowed up some 2,000 acres in Atlantic County. We're going to keep you updated on the story throughout the evening, so stay with us. There's other news.
Mullica Township. We'll be right back. You are looking live at pictures from Skyfox right now in Mullica Township, New Jersey, where a forest fire has now burned 2,000 acres in Atlantic County. 100 people have been evacuated from a Mullica Township neighborhood as firefighters are trying to contain this blaze. They say they will be on it all night. 400 firefighters on the scene right now.
We have Mike Minch on the phone. He is the Skyfox pilot. He has been over the scene on and off since 4 o'clock this afternoon when it started. Mike, let me ask you now, how far away are the flames from Totem Village, a community right there, about 75 homes? I know you can't see it real well. I know we can't see pictures of it, but how far is it now?
Danya, it looks like it's licking the back doors. We've driven, but this is driven by a 10 to 15 knot north wind, and Bob Ashmore, gyrocam operator, myself have been watching this firestorm consume acre after acre. It's just a phenomenal sight from up here right above the fire.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Mike Minch, our Skyfox pilot. We will continue to have more on this story throughout our new fire out there.
Well, actually, the winds outside of the fire range are calm, but once you get closer to the fire, all that heat, you consume 2,000 acres of timber. That produces enough heat to produce the 15-knot wind that Mike was talking about, the Skyfox pilot. Yeah. It looks like those winds will continue as long as the fire continues. And we'll take a look at the
top stories of the day. We can go straight to pictures from Skyfox right now, live over the scene. So far, 100 residents have been evacuated as a huge fire devours parts of the Wharton State Forest in Mullica Township, New Jersey. There has been more than 2,000 acres burned, and the fire is threatening a 75-home development called Totem Village. Our pilot tells us it is on the heels of this village right now. 400 firefighters from 4 counties are on standby in the neighborhood. 4 planes and a helicopter have been used to drop water on the flames. Well, we will have more details and a complete report tomorrow morning on Good Day Philadelphia.
A local teenager who survived
30th on Action News this morning. Firefighters are battling flames and smoke again in the New Jersey Pinelands.
It is an emotional homecoming for a Philadelphia teenager who survived a deadly crash, and an area track team heads south for a major competition.
You know. All right, thank you, David. In the news, it is happening again in the Pinelands of New Jersey at this hour. Fire has claimed 2,000 acres, and the flames are slowly marching toward a residential development there. The pictures from the air over Mullica Township tell the story. story. Thick plumes of smoke began rising into the air late yesterday afternoon. Firefighters have set what are known as backfires around a nearby development to try to steer the flames away. But residents, of course, are nervous because the fire's too close for comfort.
We're just packing up the valuables, stuff you can't replace. They said it's a mile away and it's coming this way.
There have been hundreds of evacuations. Winds have died down, and that is helping firefighters. They're optimistic that the flames can be contained by later this morning. The origin of the fire is still unknown.
In other news this morning.
This is News 10 Today.
And today, an army of firefighters is battling a raging fire in the Pinelands. So far, it's blackened more than 2,000 acres at Wharton State Park. We have a live update.
And this tearful reunion for mother and son as the son returns to Philadelphia, escaping a deadly bus crash in Virginia.
And a deadly crash of a pickup truck and a dump truck in Michigan. 9 children are among the dead. Good morning and welcome to News 10 Today. I'm Connie Cola.
I'm Steve Levy. It's exactly 6 o'clock. This is the 30th day of July. Good Wednesday morning to you.
It's been a busy day already on the roadways this morning.
Let's get over to Max Bear and get you your update if you're hitting the roads, Max.
Well, good morning. Yes, out in Exton, a lot of equipment on the scene of an accident that you should avoid. The location is Township Line Road, just west of Route 100, and the roadway is shut down. Again, that's Township Line Road out in Exton. Please avoid that area. Now, we have no problems reported in Philadelphia as we go to a live view of the Vine Expressway at I-76. The Schuylkill Expressway, everything is clear on the Vine. I-76, no delays, and under report right now on 95. And on the Boulevard, construction crews in the process of picking up all their equipment northbound in the area of 9th Street. In the News 10 Metro Traffic Center, I'm Max Vieira for News 10, and outside on City Avenue, Bill Henley with a beautiful day ahead.
It really looks like it's going to be another gorgeous day today, Max. We had some pretty good wind yesterday that brought in drier air. The wind is still with us, but it's going to be settling down. It will be lower today, and the humidity is also going to stay low. So it looks like a great day shaping up. Lots of sunshine in store for us today, ne'er a cloud in the sky, with low humidity through this afternoon. Look for a high today of 83 degrees. That's 2 in a row for beautiful days. How long can the streak continue? I'll have the story with the 5-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Connie?
Thank you, Bill. Our top story this morning, a forest fire is eating its way through a portion of the New Jersey Pinelands. It broke out around 4 o'clock yesterday and continues to burn this morning, threatening a number of homes. Chopper 10's gyrocam is over the scene earlier. Officials say that the raging fire has charred well over 2,000 acres at this point. It's burning through parts of the Wharton State Forest in Mullica Township, Atlantic County, just northeast of Hamilton. And News 10's Yuzi Brown-Washington joins us live from Atlantic County now with the latest. Yuzi?
Well, Connie, we've been trying to talk to officials all morning to try to get a handle on exactly what's going on with this forest fire. At this point, they are telling us it is not spreading, but they're still sort of cautious about saying it is under control or contained. Let me step out of the way here. You can see firefighters in the background. Some of these firefighters have been here all night. I talked to one firefighter when we came in, and he said he was just worn out. He's been here since 4:30. For many of these firefighters, it has been 12 hours on the job nonstop. Now, the fire has been a ferocious battle that's taken an army of firefighters, as you mentioned, Connie. They've had about 80 firefighters from different companies out here. They've been using helicopters, planes to drop water on the fire and try to contain this blaze. The blaze started about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. They still have no idea how the fire even started. By 11:30 last night, the fire had scorched about 2,000 acres of New Jersey's Pineland. A lot of the people, we're standing in an area called Totem Village, that's the residential area here, and a lot of people had to be evacuated just to get them out of the way as the fire started to slowly burn and march through the area. These people were evacuated. I talked with someone with Atlantic County Fire. They told me over the phone that some of the people were allowed to return, but some of them are still being kept away from here because they just can't risk letting them come back in here. We're hoping to get some more information within the hour. We understand the forestry will be sending a chopper up to do an aerial assessment, and hopefully officials will get to us, and we'll bring you that information as soon as we get it. Reporting live in Mullica Township, New Jersey, I'm Yuzi Brown-Washington, News 10.
Yuzi, thank you for your report. Stay safe.
Philadelphia teenager survived that deadly bus crash yesterday in Virginia, safe back home in his home in Germantown this morning. 15-year-old Christopher Lowe reunited with his family last night at International Airport. He was among those who escaped serious injury when that charter bus loaded with kids went off a highway in Southern Virginia and hit the river. Christopher says the bus driver fell asleep.
I've seen him do it before, and we've had to wake him up before, but...
While he was driving?
While he was driving.
Now, one person died. a crash. In that crash, a chaperone. The group was retracing the path of the Underground Railroad, that route that the escaped slaves took at the time of the Civil War. There's been a crash in Michigan, too. This one has claimed the lives of a couple of women and several children who were returning from an outing at a lake. The scene after a pickup truck collided with a dump truck in Concord, Michigan. Killed 2 women, ages 19 and 24, and 9 kids, ranging from the age of 12 down to 1-year-old. 2 more kids are in the hospital this morning. They're in critical condition. Local sheriff says the impact caused that pickup to just disintegrate. Now, the women are believed to be the mothers of some of the children. We'll learn the identities of all the victims.
Excited that I'm going to learn something new that I can go out and apply on the court the very next day.
Subscribe for just $19.77 a year. Call now and get this carry-all bag and the first issue risk-free.
Order Tennis Magazine now. 800-451-2600.
Get wined and dined every weekday morning at 7:40 with Bill Wine's Movie Review and Fox's Cooking on Good Day.
Good Day, Philadelphia. This morning at 7 on Fox Philadelphia.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 30th. Next on Good Day at 6:30, a ferocious forest fire sends Mullica Township residents running for their lives. We'll have live team coverage from Sky Fox and on the ground. An emotional homecoming for a Philadelphia teenager who survived a deadly bus crash. Philadelphia Eagle Mike Mamula has a chat with police after allegedly showing off more than his football talents. These stories and more are coming up right now. Good Day at 6:30 begins.
Under control at this point, but they're securing the lines so that by the morning, the fire will have stopped advancing.
A carpet of flames has covered more than 2,000 acres of New Jersey's pinelands, but as you heard, firefighters think they may be getting the upper hand now. Good morning. I'm Joyce Evans, and welcome to Good Day at 6:30. We'll have more on our top story of the morning, but first, let's check in with Jimmy, who's outside taking in another great day of weather. Looking good out there.
Yeah, it is gorgeous out here, Joyce, and the sad news is we need rain, and we're not going to get it all week long. We're going to enjoy beautiful mornings, cool weather, and then in the afternoon, temperatures should rise into the low to mid 80s today all the way through the weekend, but we definitely don't have any rain in the forecast. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening right now at Northeast Philly Airport. We're looking at temperatures around 59 degrees. Can you believe that? This is the end of July, and we're continuing to see mid-50s in the northwestern suburbs. Humidity is 60%, pressure's rising, winds north at about 7 miles an hour, and the ocean water temperature is at 72 now. Good Day Foxcast is showing lots of sunshine all day long, a bit of a breeze and low humidity, 79 by lunchtime, and late afternoon, 83 degrees, a perfect day. But again, no rain in the forecast. I'll have more weather for you coming up at 6:45. But first, let's check Fox traffic with Andrea Locke. Actually, you know who it is? It's Sarah Caldwell, and Andrea will be in a little later this morning. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm fine. Good to see you, Jim.
You too.
We're in pretty good shape out there. For the most part, the major roadways are looking fine. We're going to take a look at 76 at Belmont. Just to give you an idea of how things are moving, you can see westbound we're starting to pick up some volume, and as you're coming eastbound into this point, we're seeing some slowing right around 476 into the curve. The problem spot, however, we're going to point out to you on a map. It's in West Whiteland, Chester County. Township Line Road is closed west of Route 100 because of an accident there, so do avoid that if you can. Also, if you're going to be traveling on 42 or 55, we also have some delays there. 42 is jammed, 544 to 55. 55 is already a half a mile up to 42, so keep that in mind as you're heading out the door. Live from the Fox Traffic Center, I'm Sarah Caldwell. Joyce, back to you. Good morning.
Thank you, Sarah, and good morning to you. Topping Fox News at 6:33 for the second time in a few weeks. An out-of-control fire is raging in the New Jersey Pinelands, this time in Atlantic County. We have live Fox team coverage of this story. Kathy Matuziak has a bird's-eye view of it all, while Steve Keeley tracks the situation on the ground. But first, let's go to Kathy, live in Sky Fox. Kathy, what's it looking like now?
Well, we are hovering, Joyce, about 900 feet above the Wharton State Forest. This fire has consumed about 2,000 acres of woodlands and marsh. Fire officials, the Forest Fire Service in New Jersey, says they're confident that the fire is not going to spread, but they're not ready to officially say it's been contained.
Let's go now to our gyro cam shot. This is what it looks like right above the smoky area of the state forest. This is in the northern end of Atlantic County in Mullica Township, not far from Hamilton. Firefighters had some difficulties overnight working on the blaze because it is in such a remote area. They had some mechanical breakdowns because it was very difficult to get their trucks in. This morning we expect a commander. He's probably up hovering in the same general vicinity that we are this morning, evaluating the situation. They're going to take a look at whether or not they can declare this fire.
Mount Holly this morning, 58 degrees. So a big difference between the city and the burbs, as you will, as far as the temperatures go. You might even need a jacket if you're heading out right this minute. But you won't need it this afternoon. You'll be throwing it over your shoulder. 82 degrees for the high here in Philadelphia. A little bit cooler up in the Lehigh Valley. Now, for right now, because of these very low humidities, 48% and a temperature of 64 and light northerly winds, it feels magnificent outside. Today, sunny and beautiful, a temperature of 82 degrees. Those northerly winds continue. Again, they're on the light side, and fortunately not as high as they were yesterday, which certainly fanned the flames out in Mullica. Now, tonight, clear and cool, close to a record. The record is 58 degrees set on many different years, most recently in 1981. So it's possible some areas could get it. The official low, though, probably at the airport will not get quite that low, so we won't be setting an official record. But in your neighborhood, we might be able to set that record, but it won't count for the record books. Look at that. Look at that. Someone needs some imagination here. We've just got day after day after day of the same thing, which is fine if we could just get some rain scattered in there every so often, maybe overnight like they did it in Camelot. Yuki.
All right, Carol, thank you very much. Good morning again, everyone. At the top of the news, the smell of burning pine forest hangs heavy over parts of South Jersey this morning, and more than 2,000 acres have been blackened. News 3's Robin McIntosh is live in Mullica Township with more. Robin, good morning.
Good morning, Yuki, and still a very smoky scene here in Mullica Township. We're in the Totem Village section of this area. This is one of the few inhabited areas around the Wharton State Forest. For a time, the homes here were threatened. That danger is now past. As the sun comes up here in Mullica Township, state forest fire helicopters are in the air. Fire commanders are taking a look at the depth and the spread of this fire before they declare it under control. Dozens of evacuated families began returning to their homes on the borders of the Wharton State Forest this morning. They carried away smoky clothing to head for work. Grateful, at least, their homes were not damaged by a fire that came dangerously close.
We left at 4 o'clock, or around 4, because we got a call from my sister's friend's dad. He's a firefighter. He said, leave. And then right after that, we got somebody knocked on the door as a firefighter. He said, you have to leave. So we left early.
The firefighting efforts continued this morning as state and local firefighters moved deep into the Wharton Forest to put out what's left of the smoky inferno.
We don't have total containment, but we feel this project is not in danger no more. We still have some hot spots that we have to handle. We feel if the weather conditions are right, we should have a handle on this by midday.
And we're back live now. Behind me, you can see just some of the equipment that's being used to fight this fire. More than 400 firefighters from 4 different counties have been fighting this fire since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon when it was reported. The good news is no homes were destroyed or damaged, and only one minor injury. One firefighter was overcome by the heat and the smoke yesterday. Still very smoky here. The advice to anyone with breathing problems here in the Mullica Township area, please stay away from this area because I don't have breathing problems, and I can tell you it's beginning to affect me. Just a lot of heavy smoke here, but the good news is the bulk of this fire has been knocked down, and by midday we should know whether this fire has been declared officially under control. That's a story live from Mullica Township here in Atlantic County. We'll go back to you.
Robbie, thanks for the update. Take it easy out there. In other news this morning, a tragic car crash.
The story for you is one that's been going on since yesterday afternoon. It appears now that firefighters are starting to get the upper hand on that forest fire that's been burning in the pinelands of South Jersey. Officials are telling News 10 that it is now mostly contained. Now, Chopper 10 and the gyro cam went up over that fire just after it started at about 4 yesterday afternoon. So far, we're talking about 2,000 acres of charred state forest, and at its height, the smoke from those flames could be seen in Trenton about 40 miles away. Burned through a portion of the Wharton State Forest, Mullica Township, Atlantic County. The worst of it, just northeast of Hamilton, New Jersey.
News 10's Yuzi Brown Washington is at the fire line and joins us now with the details. Yuzi?
Connie, Steve, I'm in Totem Village. This is where firefighters spent much of the night battling blazes here, trying to protect the homes in this area. We're basically in the middle of what is a sandwich. To the east of us, an area called Bastow Village. That's where Terry Ruggles is. He's over there, and he told me that he could see plumes of smoke billowing into the air. They've got fires that they're trying to deal with there. To the west of us is a campsite. They've got a blaze there that they're trying to handle. There are firefighters who are spread out throughout the area here, trying to keep an eye out for where there may be fires breaking out and catching them before they get out of hand. Basically, they have been here all night trying to get a handle on this one, and they just don't want it to get out of their grip again.
How far did it come up from in the back, you know? To you? Yeah. Here?
It came real close to me.
Right to here, at least. Luckily, they cut a fire break in because it came right to the fire break.
I see that.
When Gary Dixon and his family fled their home last night, the smoke was so blinding, he couldn't really see how close the raging fire had come to his back door, less than 30 feet away.
I just thank God it's still here when we got back this morning. Yeah.
Dixon was one of about 100 people who were forced out of their homes after they saw what the fire did to the Pine Barrens. The blaze started around 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, and in less than 6 hours' time, it had already scorched 2,000 acres. Getting this one under control was a ferocious battle that took an army of 400 firefighters and volunteers.
We have a lot of swamp, and there's a lot of just brush out there that it's feeding on. It's not a fast-moving fire, but it's a slow fire, you know, burning the fuel that's on the ground.
Even though the fire is still burning, officials say it's no longer a threat to Totem Village. But some families are still afraid to go home.
Can't breathe or anything. It's horrible.
And it is still pretty horrible. At this point, firefighters are telling people who may have any kind of breathing problems, asthma or whatnot, not to come back in here because there's still a lot of smoke in the area. And as I mentioned, they are still fighting some of those fires. As a matter of fact, they've been so busy fighting those fires, they've really not had much chance to find out how it all started. Reporting live in Mullica Township, I'm Yuzi Brown, Washington, News 10.
Thank you, Yuzi.
A little better update for you on that forest fire in the Jersey Pinelands. Being told it's about 60% contained right at this hour. Some of the people who had been evacuated did return to their homes this morning, but of course they didn't know what they'd find when they got there.
Thank God it's still here when we got back this morning.
Because the flames burned about 2,000 acres of the Wharton State Forest. Firefighters finally got the upper hand when the winds that had fanned the fire died down a bit for them overnight.
Here's a story that could...
Forest fire still burning out of control in South Jersey. Flames have already scorched nearly 2,000 acres of the Pine Barrens in Mullica Township, and for a time there were big fears that the flames could wipe out homes in that area. Action News New Jersey correspondent Lisa Quintana is live in Mullica Township with the very latest on efforts to get those flames out. Lisa.
Monica, right now state firefighters have moved their command post to Bastow Village here. They are trying to consolidate their forces. Right now officials say that the fire is anywhere from 75 to 80% contained, but it is still not under control. There are hot spots all along this stretch of woodlands. You might be able to see above my shoulder there is still smoke rising above the trees. Now at this hour there are no homes in danger. Still, state firefighters are keeping a very close watch on the flames that are burning in a very isolated section of the forest. Smoke continues to rise above Wharton State Forest over 20 hours after the fire first began. Officials say these head fires can be potentially very dangerous.
They can move fast, like a locomotive. Even the sound is roaring, and they create their own wind between that factor and the wind itself. They can move pretty damn fast.
The forest fire started just before 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Over 1,700 acres are destroyed. At first, officials feared the fire would consume 25 homes in Totem Village. Over 100 people were told to leave. What did they tell you?
Evacuate. Go to the firehouse in town, and let's go. The only time we had was to evacuate the durables.
Firefighters fought aggressively throughout the night. These volunteers have been on duty from the very beginning. You're a volunteer. Why are you sticking it out?
Well, we like to help people out, you know. You never know, it could be you one day.
Today, it's Beth Greco. She and her neighbors were permitted to return to their homes at 3:30 this morning.
I was hoping this morning it would all be behind us, but I don't see that happening right now. I could see smoke again over here and on the other side, and I don't know.
One of the firefighters' goal at this hour is to close off the suspected area of origin. Right now, the official word is that they do not know what caused this fire. But when it comes to forest fires, 99% of them are caused by humans. The other 1% is caused by lightning. Firefighters here say that is a possibility and that we did have a rainstorm a couple of days ago. Lightning could have struck the isolated section of the forest and simply smoldered for days on end. Reporting live on the Action Cam, I'm Lisa Quintana in Mullica Township.
All right, thank you.
After burning through more than 1,000 acres of pinelands, firefighters are still struggling out there to put out massive forest fires in South Jersey.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Davidson.
And I'm Arthur Fennell.
And our top story tonight, firefighters now say they have the upper hand in the Pinelands blaze that's blackened more than 1,700 acres in Atlantic County, New Jersey. And tonight, the 100 people driven out by the flames are now back in their homes. The fire burned through a portion of Wharton State Forest in Mullica Township, Atlantic County. The worst of it just northeast of Hamilton. Let's get the latest now from News 10's New Jersey correspondent Terry Ruggles live in the Wharton State Forest. Terry?
Tracy, if you take a look over my shoulder, it's hard to tell the difference between the horizon and the white that's coming up out of the forest. That's because it's mostly steam right now. The fire has been contained in a cypress swamp area. But we were just told moments ago that the final count right now is 1,800 charred acres, and this fire under control of about 90%. Only about 10% of it still out of control or not contained is the exact term. At the height of this blaze, almost 500 firefighters were still working on this fire. Today, there were still a good number trying to control this thing.
I like it.
Almost 100 firefighters spent the day fighting the flames that are eating everything in their path.
You feel the heat and you just want to get away from it as fast as possible, but you just deal with it. It's part of the job.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This dirt road is about 15 feet wide and normally would act as a barrier, but yesterday the flames were so hot and it was so windy that the fire jumped right across the road.
I'm scared last night. I'm really worried.
The fire came very close to Totem Village. Families that were told to leave last night came back today to see just how close they came to losing their houses.
Luckily, they cut a fire break in because it came right to the fire break.
I see that. Gary Dixon's house was saved by a fire break or a sand trench firemen dug that stopped the flames.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I just thank God it's still here when we got back this morning.
As homeowners in Totem Village were moving back in, firefighters were still battling hot spots. The biggest problem in the cedar swamps.
In some places, the tractors are going down and getting stuck or getting buried, in the swamp, so they have to make a line all the way around that. So it's really inaccessibility and poor terrain.
A helicopter dropping water is the only way to put out some of the flames. As the chopper shuttles water, dedicated firefighters on the ground eat smoke and put out the fires. Well, right now they're saying they won't know until tomorrow, or at least won't even start looking until tomorrow for a cause of this flame. There will be personnel on hand here all night to keep a look at that 10% that is still not contained. Reporting live from the Wharton State Forest.
Please stop on a delta.
About 70% of that forest fire in New Jersey's Wharton State Forest now, but there is much work yet to be done. New Jersey correspondent Lisa Quintana is live on the front lines of the firefight. Lisa, what is the latest there?
Well, actually, Jim, the latest is that officials just came out and told us that 90% of the fire is contained at this hour. Still, there are sections of the forest which continue to burn uncontrollably. You can see the clouds of smoke from miles away. The Wharton State Forest continues to burn some 24 hours after the fire first began. Can you tell me what it's like out there?
It's just very hot and it's just very smoky.
One point, up to 400 firefighters battled the blaze. The state's fire warden says his crews have the upper hand. Still, they do not have the fire completely under control. What's working against you?
Mostly the inaccessibility of the area and the poor roads into here. That's the worst thing.
Helicopters continue to dump thousands of gallons of water on the flames. Ground crews fill their tanks with water before returning to the forest. Why do you keep going?
I just love the job. I really love it. I love helping people, and I always love nature, so this is kind of a way to put everything together.
You're a volunteer. Why are you sticking it out?
Well, we like to help people out, you never know, it could be you one day, so it's the pleasure of helping people. A little tired. Just basically waiting to see what happens now.
So far, 1,800 acres of woodlands have been destroyed, but a nearby housing development has been spared. And for that, residents are grateful.
I'm not scared of living back here.
Why not?
Well, I think our firefighters are real good, so that doesn't bother me about living in the woods.
Now, we are at the command post at the Battsdale Village, just outside the Wharton State Forest. When officials came out and spoke to us, they said they are very optimistic at this point. So optimistic that they have sent home many volunteer firefighting companies. They expect to have the fire completely under control as early as tomorrow morning. At that point, they can continue their investigation and try to figure out what caused this fire. Reporting live on the Action Cam, I'm Lisa Quintana.
Winds caused concern throughout the afternoon as a dangerous forest fire continues to burn in Atlantic County. Here's the scene as it looked from Skycam 3 this afternoon. Hundreds of firefighters are trying